Shalom, shalom. It's your brother AHBAD. AHBAD from GMS YAHAWAH. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, BASHIM, Chakadash. Double honors to my elder apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. Single honor, salutation to all the sons and brothers who are constantly pushing us for and truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and all faith and honesty. Peace and blessings also be to the men, women, and children, to sincere men, women, and children that consist of the body of YAHAWASHI, who are also the 1/3. Peace and blessings also be to all your confusing the faces who believe in the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Peace and blessings be unto you all. Just looking at this article, I'm not gonna even read the article, but it's the title of the article says, "Are Jews white?" American history says it's complicated. This is some Jewish community website called Forward. It says Jewish fearless since 1897. Nonetheless, so we already know that here in Great Millstone and primarily Salakia, and the Israelite community, that the so-called white man is not an Israelite. Okay, they descended from Esau, Edom. They are not descendants from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are descendants from Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. All right, and as you can see, there's a painting on the left hand side of the screen that goes to show something that occurred during the Renaissance. Now you see there's a original painting of Mashiach, and then you have a Jewish rabbi in the middle changing the painting of Mashiach into the painting you see on the right side of him, which just says new painting of Christ, which I don't like saying that word, but for edification's sake. So if you look at the individual on the left hand side of the screen who's painting, that's something known as iconoclasm or whitewashing. In other words, where you change the depiction of how the original character or individual looked in history to your own liking, which is why today they truly believe that they are the Israelites. And it's just the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI to expose this. It just goes to show you who the devil is. Because they want that blessing that their forefather Esau, Edom, basically gave to Jacob, our forefather. When I say our forefather, I mean you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American gave our forefather the blessing for a pot of meat and some lentils. And they like to say, "Oh, Jacob stole the blessing." No, Jacob didn't steal the blessing. He got it fair and square through the spirit power of YAHAWASHI, though, nonetheless. But I want to bring out this precept really quick. Is it on First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48, and laid open the book of the law, all right, which is the Bible, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Wow. Prime examples right here on the left hand side of the screen. So I can bear with me, just waking up, but this was on my mind. So this just goes to show you, man, that when you go back to this article that I was reading, and it's an opinion article, but they still, Esau, the so-called white man, the Edomites, they write the narrative, but nonetheless, though, the truth must come out. Are Jews white? Well, first and foremost, there's no such thing as a white man or a black man, or a black man, okay? You have to understand that everyone stems from Adam, and man was made from the dust of the ground. And for anyone who knows about planting a seed, you don't just throw a seed on the top of the grass. You have to uproot the grass and get down into that deep, dark, rich, cool soil. All right, so the first man would have been the same complexion as like Wesley Snipes, all right? Or the first Shaft, Michael Jordan, something of that degree. A dark-skinned man, and so was Eve as well. So going right back, let me go back to that. Let me go right back here again. Read it one more time. First Maccabees 3 and 48. And lay open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Now I have this book right here. It's called From Babylon to Timbuktu. a history of ancient black races, including the black Hebrews. You know, I'm just reading the title. I'm going to show you this in the post-production as well. I'm going to read the excerpt out of here that I'm pretty sure all you brothers are familiar with. It's page 84. It says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with a great slaughter. And General Vespasian and Titus, and also the sons of Michigan, they would be considered so-called white men, Edomites. Okay. You also have the Ark of Titus that they have here in America. I can't remember exactly where it is, but I'll put it up in the post-production. Basically celebrating and making a memorial of how they slaughtered the Israelites, basically us, the so-called the Jews, so to say. All right, because when they say Jews in the Bible, majority of the time it's talking about the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes, so-called Jamaicans, and so-called Haitians. The Levites would be the so-called Haitians. The Benjamites would be the so-called Jamaicans, and the so-called Negroes would be the Judahites. All right, but nonetheless, though, you have more Spanish-speaking and Native American tribes. All right, so there's no such thing as white or black. All right, these are different shades of brown. Esau, Edom, the so-called white men, have something called leprosy. But anyways, let's get back to this. Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. This is dating back to 70 AD. All right. This is this is almost 2 millenniums ago. The millennium is 1,000 years. So now let's go back to, and this is why opinions don't matter, because opinions are lies. Because opinion is it's the opposite of a fact. And what it says here, forward.com, this is in the opinion column. Are Jews white? And at the beginning, what does it say? Jewish, fearless, since 1897. Well, going back to 70 AD, it said that the market was full of black Jewish slaves, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and I'm just using black as an indicator. I'm not saying that we are black, we're different shades of brown, so to say. Because some brothers out here have the complexion like Blake Griffin, who's a basketball player for the Detroit Pistons now. And he's a fair-skinned individual like Mariah Carey, you know, or like J-Lo, but his father's Haitian, so-called Haitian, a Levite, and he's as dark as Michael Jordan. But his mother appears to be an Edomite woman. So, you know, you are whatever your father is. So it just goes to show you that the confusion of faces also goes back to certain brothers and sisters who can have a lot of complexion than the average dark-skinned Negro, so to say, all right? But going back from that 70 AD, that goes back to that falling away that Paul was speaking about in 2 Thessalonians. And that occurred to our people, okay? That didn't occur to you so-called white people. You were the ones who were actually initiating that, what was it, desolation, the abomination, all right? When YAHAWASHI was telling us to flee into the mountains. And like I say right here, you can clearly see this is what you call iconoclasm. This is what you call whitewashing. And right here, you even have in the scriptures where it tells you how the Lord looks. Okay, Daniel 10:6, Revelations 1:13 through 15. Then it goes on and speaks about 2 Corinthians 11:4, Revelations 13:14 through 17, so to say. All right. Well, actually, Salakia, I take that back, because the image is not actually the picture of who you see today as Jesus Christ. All right. I just picked this photo walk because of the comparison, but the beast is actually the system. All right. Just to clear that up really quick. All right. Now, before I close out, I want to bring out a precept. Let me go right here. Going into the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verse 14. This is one we are familiar with. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. All right, so the Lord sprang out of Judah. All right, that's the head tribe out of the 12 tribes. Now I'm not gonna even go to where most brothers think I'm gonna go to Revelations 1. I'm not gonna even go there. All right, I'm gonna go to Song of Solomon, because we all, those who know, um, when you think about King David sprang from the tribe of Judah. It doesn't say that in it says Revelation 5th chapter, said the lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David. All right, springing out of Judah. So this is Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse, and this is Solomon writing this. He says, Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. And when he say black, he's talking about being dark skinned. You know, and it's something that Jake used to say back in the 70s and 80s. I'm black and beautiful. So to say comely just means beautiful. If you go into the Hebrew, the word comely is yapah, which means beautiful, which is the name for Japheth. And why would he say that? Verse 6, looking out upon me because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. Because, you know, dark-skinned people, we have melanite cells, which gives us that melanin, that nice complexion. Why you think Esau Edom have tanning beds? we don't need to be tanned. We are naturally kissed by the sun, so to say. All right. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. All right, so they just go to show you, man, that the Judahites, the tribe of Judah, were dark-skinned individuals, and the Lord sprang out of Judah. All right, and also when you think about the other tribes too, the Lord said that Ephraim is a cake unturned. All right, if you ever cooking pancakes and you just have one side constantly cooking and you don't flip it, the top side is going to be lighter than the other side that's touching the skillet. That's basically mean that the northern kingdom coming in different shades of brown. That's basically all it's saying, you know. But anyways, I just want to hit a few key points. Just wanted to make my point. Nonetheless, though, Esau, Edom, these so-called white people, you're the devil. All right, and the word devil just means deceiver and slanderer. And you have deceived the whole world. But nonetheless, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, MACHAKADASH. Double honors to my elder apostles, the great millstone who rule well. Seek under salutation of all your sincere brothers, constantly push his word, treat sincerity. Peace and bliss to the 1/3, and also the confusion of faces. Shalom.